presentation of Fox Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are South.
Yesterday, Young Guns Tommy La Stella and Christian Bethencourt set the table for an Atlanta breakout fourth inning. Andrelton Simmons and Freddie Freeman joined the multi-hit parade while the Braves scored 5 runs en route to a 9th consecutive win. Today it's time for another series sweep. It's Game 3, D-backs and Braves on Fox Sports South. Well, the skies might be a bit cloudy in Atlanta, but everywhere else in Braves country, things are indeed sunny side up. The Braves trying to wrap up a perfect homestand on a gorgeous afternoon for baseball here at Turner Field. All year long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. Let's see if the Braves can't continue their win streak. It stands at 9 consecutive games, and today they try to sweep away the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hi again, friends, along with Joe Simpson, Chip Carey. Great to be back at the ballpark where everything is going very, very well for the Atlanta Braves, Joe. Offensively, pitching, bullpen, defense, everything's clicking for the Braves, who lead the division by a game and a half.
You know what the best thing is about winning streaks? Gives knuckleheads like you and me a lot to talk about because everything is very positive and very good right now as the Braves go for their 3rd straight sweep today. They've won 9 in a row. Offensively, 2nd since the streak started in the National League in runs per game and on base percentage and in steals. They're 7 for 9 in stolen bases. Pitching-wise, it's even better. 2nd and 2nd in opponents' runs per game in ERA. And check out the bullpen. That's amazing. A 0.40 ERA. So things are rolling along just fine, but they've got a tough customer to deal with today in Wade Miley. That won't be easy.
Alex Wood gets the ball for the Braves, who go for their 10th consecutive victory here at Turner Field in Atlanta. Great to be back at work. Hope you enjoy the ball game. Let's see what happens. It's the Braves and D-backs lineups at first pitch right after this. Arizona Diamondbacks. We join you from Turner Field, where Atlanta Braves baseball on Hyundai Sunday is brought to you by your local Hyundai dealer. Atlanta's won 9 consecutive games. They've won 3 of 5 games head-to-head against the Diamondbacks and try to sweep them back to the desert Southwest after today's game. Kirk Gibson is their skipper. Here is his Toyota starting lineup. A man you may not know much about is a man who's given the Braves problems this season. That's David Peralta. He has 9 hits against Atlanta in 5 games this year, and in the last 6 has 11 hits in 22 at-bats. He's nestled between Prado and Ross in the middle of this Arizona starting 9 today.
And Alex Wood on the mound for his 10th start of the year. He's been in what will be 21 games as of today, counting his work in the bullpen too. Take a look at the difference, though. We talked about this a lot when Alex was in the bullpen, that he seemed better suited for the rotation, and he certainly likes it better. His results are better as a starter. It's number 10 for him today, and he's coming off that start against New York where he hung in there, got a no decision, but kept the team in there to win 5-3, went 6 innings. It was a quality start with just 1 walk. His 4 keys to pitching success today. He's had some first inning problems, including that game against the Mets in which he gave up 1 run. So hopefully he can avoid those today and get off to a good start. Braves gave up 3 runs in the first yesterday, but overcame that. And right-handed heavy. You just saw that lineup that Chip gave you. And Kirk Gibson has adjusted his lineup today, taken out a couple of key left-handers in Montero and Parra, and injected a couple of right-handed hitters. So among position players, only 2 lefties in the lineup against Alex today.
And we'll see if it works for Arizona. They enter play today just 6-13 for the season against left-handed starters. So you like your chances with Alex Wood the way he's pitching. Let's see how he fares with Ender Inciarte, the Arizona leadoff man and center fielder today. Underway. That's off the plate. Pretty day. 81 degrees in Atlanta. Not much of a breeze.
Welcome to late September, early October, huh?
How about beautiful 4th of July weather like this? It's been nice in Atlanta. And we hope it continues in New York and Chicago. That's where the Braves go next. That one's out of play to the left. Inciarte, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Already a good play by Vender. Some unsuspecting fans walking by, about to get hit in the coconut. He one-handed it. Nice play, sir.
Fly ball toward left center. Justin Upton gathers it in. And Inciarte hits in the air, and he's retired to start the ball game. 1 down. Here's Aaron Hill. Kirk Gibson, we have seen in this series, and we've seen in our season series against the Diamondbacks, has really rotated several players up the middle. He's had Prado, he's had Hill, he's had Gregorius, he's had Chris Owings, and Nick Ahmed playing second and shortstop. That is an area I would assume that Arizona has to sort out over the final 2.5 months of this season and moving forward into 2015. Popped up. Freddie Freeman is there, and Hill pops out. 2 down.
The Braves are just 3-2 against Arizona this year after losing 2 out of 3 in Phoenix. But take a look at this. Last 15 games at Turner Field, the Diamondbacks are just 2-13 with an ERA just under 6. This has not been a kind place to the Snakes.
And this is how you like to face Paul Goldschmidt. 2 outs, bases empty. Goldschmidt 2 for 8 in the series. And he takes ball 1. Won't know till 7 o'clock tonight when the All-Star selections will be made. But a pretty good chance this guy's going to represent the National League. He's a terrific player.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb.
Yeah.
Say he's got a good shot.
306 average, 15 homers, 56 knocked in. And a 2-ball, 1-strike count. It's an exciting day for the players.
Yeah, it is. Very rewarding day.
Little chopper toward third. Chris tried the bare hand play, and couldn't come up cleanly. And Goldschmidt reaches with a 2-out infield hit.
Paul Goldschmidt doesn't get many infield hits, so he's happy to take this one. And another good hand for Martin.
Martin said in the papers today that his first trip back to Atlanta last year was odd after being a lifelong Braves player. This year it felt a little bit like any other stop, as Wood tried to pick off Goldschmidt and threw it down the right field line. And Goldschmidt moves to second on the pitcher's throwing error.
Tried this quick step off and throw, and ill-advised. Braves made 2 errors yesterday. Those were both, oddly enough, by Andrelton Simmons. Were able to cover those up.
But for Martin last year, his return to Atlanta with the Diamondbacks really helped spur a terrific second half for him. He hit .321 for Arizona after the second half of the season got underway, and they're hoping for similar results this year. Martin has not had a Martin Prado-like offensive year. He's a .268 for the season, and in the midst of a 9-for-44 slump at the plate, yet he's hitting fourth.
Yeah, and he's driven in 34 runs, and right now, other than the kid Peralta, they don't have many nominees to bat behind Goldschmidt.
1 ball, 1 strike. And a little flare out toward right. Jason Hayward is there, and Wood has an uneventful top of the first inning. Arizona strands Goldschmidt. The Braves face Wade Miley in the bottom of the first next. Fun to watch the creative ways, Joe, that they are scoring runs. They did that an awful lot yesterday, and Andrelton Simmons was right in the middle of the Toyota starting 9. A big day for the Braves shortstop. Gave us a scare with an ankle issue, but he's back in the lineup hitting second, and he's had a terrific homestand so far.
And Wade Miley's on the mound for his 19th start for the Diamondbacks. 27 years old, 6 feet 220, out of Laranger, Louisiana.
B.J. Upton jumps on the first pitch and skies it to center, and Ciarte makes the play. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Miley's 3-6 with a .478 ERA, and his 4 keys today: grip it. Well, he's adjusted the grip on his slider a little bit to change the tilt on it. It was kind of a sweeping slider. Now it's got a little sharper downward tilt to it. We'll see if that's effective today. And run support. He has the 13th lowest run support of starters in the National League. And his numbers would be, his record especially, would be a lot better if he had a few runs to work with.
Miley has been involved in 10 one-run decisions in his 18 starts this year, including the last 7 starts for Arizona.
Pitched a good game against the Braves on June 7th. 7 innings, gave up 1 earned run, no walks, and got a no decision in that one.
We've talked a lot, and we will again today, about B.J. Upton's hot run in the #1 spot in the order. How about the move of Andrelton Simmons to the 2-hole?
And he likes it. Good results.
A bunt. A beautiful bunt. And that one's thrown down the right field line. Now Simmons has to scramble back as Hill backed up the play by the tarp. A bunt single for Andrelton Simmons.
Boy, that had some Phil Mickelson bite on it too, didn't it? That thing hit the grass and just stuck. Miley had no chance to get a bounce. Had to pick it up, and then fortunately for him, Aaron Hill was hustling over to back up the play, or Andrelton would have wound up on second.
So now Freddie Freeman gets to hit. And what we said about Paul Goldschmidt from the Braves perspective certainly applies to Freddie Freeman from Arizona's perspective. He has torn these guys up. Those are Freddie's season numbers. But Freeman's been a one-man wrecking crew against Arizona in his big league career. So low at ball 2.
I figure Freddie will be back up over 300 before the All-Star break, don't you think?
Very good chance.
He's climbing back up at 294 now, and he's hit in 4 straight.
Try on these numbers: 23 lifetime games, a .402 average, 6 homers, 25 RBIs, and 20 runs. And a hot shot past Hill into center field. Hit and run, beautifully executed. And they're at the corners with 1 out. Freeman another hit against Arizona.
Boy, that was on a direct line right below me, where I could see the path of the baseball, and that ball took, I don't know if it was knuckling or not, but it took a weird kind of left turn away from Aaron Hill. So a good break for Atlanta there. Otherwise they might have been able to still get Andrelton and turn a double play. Hard hit.
And the hits for the All-Star hopeful first baseman are even today at 1 apiece. Now a chance for Justin Upton. Upton had another home run yesterday. And he hit it the other way. That's always a good sign for Justin. Maybe he's ready to go on one of his hot runs again.
Braves during this streak have been running more, and even though, I mean, 7 stolen bases certainly shows up, but even the times where they're running and putting guys in motion and getting base hits behind it, it's really paying off.
I don't know the exact statistical number to back this statement up, but it seems to me like the Braves are making more contact.
Yeah.
And as a result, they can hit and run more effectively.
Especially in those situations, especially in RBI situations. They're 10 for 30 in this series with runners in scoring position. 31.
And Upton couldn't make contact there. A breaking ball from Miley got him. And that's a big second out for Wade, who apparently has friends and family right below us.
I believe he made his major league debut here a couple of years ago and had a big crowd here. It was not a successful one for him.
Now he's got to get Hayward. 2 on, 2 out.
He struck out 10 in that start at Pittsburgh. He had a 2-hit shutout through 8 innings. went out for the ninth, gave up singles to the first two guys he faced in the ninth inning, and his bullpen came in and blew the lead. He got a no decision. They eventually lost in extra innings. Yeah, that debut here came August 20th of 2011. 4 innings, 5 runs. Thanks, Chip.
1-1 pitch. Cued to the left side, and Martin flips to Hill, and that will retire the side. Nice job by Miley to escape first inning trouble. The Braves stranded pair, and we're underway, scoreless after 1.
Diamondbacks and the Braves. I'm Andre Aldridge, and you know, on Friday we saw Diamondbacks boss Tony La Russa here down on the field, and no one should be comfortable in Arizona's dugout or in their clubhouse. And a deal completed just a little while ago as Brandon McCarthy sent to the Yankees along with cash for Vidal Nuno, a 26-year-old left-hander who started the season in long relief and had to become a starter there. He struggled, but he's 26. Meanwhile, Brandon McCarthy, 30 years old, $4 million on the books for him this season and $9 million next year, guys. So a little movement. We won't be surprised to see a lot of movement as far as Arizona is concerned, Chip.
That's a good point, Andre. They made a trade yesterday as well. They traded Joe Thatcher and Tony Campana to the Angels for a couple of minor league players, an outfielder named Zach Borenstein and a relief pitcher named Joey Krybel. That's how you pronounce it.
Thatcher? Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Very good. And that's not surprising with Arizona standing where they are, 13.5 games out in the West. Bouncing ball right side. Peralta is going to be retired. Look at him hustle down the line.
Good looking hitter.
Here's the first out.
No, I can't imagine that they're done. They've got a wealth of middle infielder types, and they'll get Chris Owings back at some point, even though his shoulder's still barking. So they've got some depth to deal some infielders if they want.
We had mentioned at the start of the series that the Blue Jays were reportedly scouting Martin Prado and Aaron Hill. Don't know if those talks or that scouting will ramp up, because Toronto lost Encarnacion to a leg injury yesterday. He felt a pop in his quadriceps.
Aaron Hill spent a lot of time in Toronto early in his career too, so they're familiar with him.
Cody Ross, a veteran player who has postseason experience, and some of it very, very good postseason experience. I would assume, Joe, they would love to see him get healthy and get hot before the deadline. He could be a valuable bat on the market.
No question. Knows how to come off the bench and swing it too.
takes ball 4 inside. Ross is aboard. It's the second base runner for the Diamondbacks, and the first walk for Wood, who doesn't walk many. Only his 18th now in 74 innings.
Alex said that one of the things that he did within the start against the Mets his last time out, after giving up the runs in the first 3 innings, was he started work a little quicker. He said he thought maybe by picking up the pace it helped him in terms of a rhythm, and it must have, because he shut him out after that.
This is Tuffy Gozwich out of Arizona State. Former Philly farmhand.
Tuffy.
To right. And Jason's got that. Gozwich goes to right, and he's the second out.
The way Jason Hayward's playing right field, he needs to go somewhere else, because he's not going to get many hits that way.
Here's Nick Ahmed, former Braves farmhand, part of the Chris Johnson, Justin Upton deal. And I don't think he was a throw-in in that deal in any way, shape, or form. I mean, he has some really impressive minor league credentials.
Yeah, and if you were with us Friday night, talked about how at Mobile last year in AA he won a minor league Gold Glove too.
To right again, and Jason Hayward again lopes in, makes the play, and a 1-out walk is left by Arizona. Chris Johnson leads things off for the Braves. When we come back, still scoreless. Again here in Atlanta. Hope you travel safely. If you're already home, hope you're enjoying the broadcast so far. No score here in the home second inning. Time for our AT&T Uverse trivia question. Name the only 2 players with more hits at Turner Field since 2007 than Martin Prado. Now, do we have to get them both, or can we just get one of the 2?
2007.
I mean, this if there was an ultimate partial credit question, this might be it.
Yes.
There's only 2 guys with more hits in this ballpark than Martin Prado.
Chipper's got to be one, isn't he?
I think. As Chris Johnson takes a strike. The way he hits us, Ryan Howard is a logical guess. The big advantage, you're talking 500 home games potentially for one of those players. So that's a good question. We'll think about that one for a while as Chris Johnson goes to work. Maybe this will be the man that gets his bat going again. This in a mini slide of 0 for his last 10. You throw a lefty at the Braves third baseman, his eyes light up. But not this time. Chased one off the plate. Johnson's down on strikes. Second strikeout for Miley today.
That was a nice pitch. A little sinker down and away. Yeah, it's hard on Chris because he's a former Diamondback. You know, he'd like to punish him a little bit. That ball run away from him. Miley works quick. Better get in the box and be ready.
Here's Tommy La Stella. For fans in Braves country who don't know much about Wade Miley, this guy's an accomplished pitcher.
Yeah.
I mean, he is not just some soft tossing guy that fills out a rotation. I mean, he's thought of as a mid to top of the rotation guy. He was a 16-game winner just a couple of years ago. And he finished second in the Rookie of the Year voting in 2012. Bryce Harper won the award, but only by 7 points or votes, whatever the terminology is. I mean, it was a close race.
And a 10-game winner last year.
Tommy rolls toward first. That is a foul ball. And La Stella back to the plate. 0-2.
You're talking about Anderson adapting to the 2-spot and enjoying it. Well, La Stella dropping in the order is more comfortable for him, it appears. He's had a good series, 4 for 7.
His average climbing up toward 290. Boy, isn't that funny though? You played, I didn't. Obviously, how a casual fan might think, all right, get in the batter's box, see ball, hit ball.
Well, that is the case 90% of the time. But like Anderson said, batting in the top of the order, he felt like he's felt like he's more involved in setting the tone of the game. And especially with BJ getting on base like he has been and the Braves scoring runs early, he's been involved and he feels like he's right in the mix, as opposed to batting lower in the order where sometimes the game's already, I don't want to say been established, but in a way some of the tone of the game has been by the time you even come to the plate for the first time.
Ground ball right side. La Stella's got a 1-out hit.
Good at bat.
And the point is, I'm sure Tommy La Stella feels the same way. He wants to be involved in the game too, but he didn't have the success that Simmons has had batting first or batting second.
No, he didn't. And the side note to that is that Tommy doesn't have as much experience as Anderson Simmons, albeit Anderson only in his 3rd year. It's a little more responsibility hitting up at the top of the order when you're first coming up. You can kind of hide in the weeds down lower in the order.
Which is where Christian Bethancourt bats today. He keeps doing what he did yesterday. He won't be hiding much longer. Bethancourt a big day. 3 hits. Which a nice stop. 1 ball, no strikes.
You know, another thing that's very impressive for La Stella, I had to look it up because I knew it was decent. I didn't know it was this good, but he's now 7 for 20 against left-handed pitching.
So the Braves with La Stella. His first month and a half, really a fact-finding mission. What can he do? What's he not ready for?
What's his best role? When can we do some things with him on the bases? Does he get a good jump? Does he go first to third?
Slow roller out toward Ahmed at short. And he makes a nice play to get Bethancourt. Estella moves up to second on a ground ball, and Alex Wood will bat with 2 men out.
Ahmed reminds me, I'm not sure which guy yet, but there's a lot of new rangy shortstops, you know, that are kind of long-legged, taller than what we're used to, and he fits that description. Good range, good play there.
Tulowitzki-ish.
Yeah, without the weight.
Right.
Yes.
Must be a good place for Alex to pick up his first hit of the year. He's 0 for 14. Down a strike.
Alex is like Cody Ross. You don't see too many left-handed throwers that are right-handed hitters. And Cody's playing almost softball depth out in right field right now.
No need. Wood strikes out. Third strikeout for Miley. And Tommy La Stella left at second base. On we go to the third, still scoreless. The best in baseball gather in Minneapolis as Derek Jeter takes the field for his last All-Star game. It should be an emotional and unforgettable night. Special coverage begins at 4:30 on Fox Sports 1, followed by the 2014 All-Star game at 7:30 on Fox. We won't know who is headed to Minneapolis amongst the playing personnel for the Braves until later on tonight. We do know manager Freddie Gonzalez will be going. He'll be one of the National League coaches for Mike Matheny's staff.
Yeah, he said Mike Matheny even asked him, I think in the offseason, if he would do it when they saw each other at the winter meetings, someplace like that, well in advance. A nice compliment. And I think it's going to be a great compliment to the city of Minneapolis and to their field, Target Field, because most people these days don't even know much about Target Field, haven't seen it. It's a great ballpark.
So looking forward to the action a week from Tuesday night in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Here's Wade Miley, 6 hits as you see. He starts off the Arizona third. Braves start play today, a game and a half up on Washington in the division. Nationals are hosting the Cubs again today. Here's Alex flirting with problems. He's gone 3-0 to the pitcher.
He's almost working at warp speed now.
And he walked him. That's not a good walk.
That was an awful walk. But it was almost like I just want to get him out of the way and get to the top of the lineup, and he was just snapping those pitches off as fast as he could get them to home plate and could not get them over.
Alex has gone 2 for 9 on first pitch strikes the first time through the lineup. Now he's got to face Inciarte with a man aboard and nobody out. Fly ball center. BJ's got that. Inciarte, in his 7th season in the Diamondbacks organization, went to the Phillies in the Rule 5 pick last year, and then was returned to the Diamondbacks.
That doesn't happen very often. But if you draft a guy in the Rule 5, you've got to keep him in the big leagues. So the Phillies didn't have any room for him, despite the fact that their outfield is a mess right now. So I think the price, the Rule 5 price, is $50 grand. And if you send that player back to his original team, you get 25 of that back.
Dan Uggla was a Rule 5 guy. Roberto Clemente was a Rule 5 guy. One ball, no strikes for Aaron Hill. Josh Hamilton was a Rule 5 guy.
Was he really?
When he came back from the suspended list, the Cubs got him in the Rule 5 draft and flipped him to the Reds for the $50,000. Just think about how different history might have been if the Cubs had kept him. Can you imagine Josh Hamilton, 81 games at Wrigley Field? Popped up, shallow right. They keep hitting it to Jason. That's fine with Alex Wood. 2 outs. That's 4 chances already for Hayward in the game. And here's Goldschmidt.
I'm so glad
One of the best seats in the house right there.
It's a shame that Arizona is not having a better year. With more national exposure, more fans around the major leagues would have an idea of just how good a year Paul Goldschmidt is having for the Diamondbacks. And he unloads deep down the left field line, and that one hits the foul pole. A long home run for Paul Goldschmidt. And after the walk to Miley and 2 soft flyouts, Goldschmidt cranks one down the left field line to put Arizona in front 2-0. What hurts is the walk to the pitcher.
Absolutely. Backed up the breaking ball with a changeup, and it got laced. Listen.
So 16 home runs for Goldschmidt, and Martin Prado is the batter. Man with a long last name hit it a long way down the line. And the D-backs have struck first.
Braves have done a decent job of keeping him under wraps in the 3 games. He had a couple of doubles before today. One of them Friday night didn't factor in any of the scoring or anything. So finally reared his ugly head, so to speak.
All the young first basemen that Arizona has had in their system and their franchise history, I think it's safe to say that Goldschmidt has become the dean of that class, if you will, as Prado hits one to third. Rubio, Durazo, Travis Lee. Mark Grace wasn't a homegrown D-back, but Goldschmidt is, and they're happy to have him. A long homer off the foul pole as Alex Wood trailing 2-0 entering the home third.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by AT&T Uverse, Delta Airlines, and Ford.
Joe and Chip back with you at the ballpark. 2-0 Arizona on a Paul Goldschmidt homer in the top of the third inning. The top of the Braves order greets Wade Miley here. It's B.J. Upton first. And he lines one out of play and is behind 0-2.
We said at the beginning of this series, Chip, that Goldschmidt is that guy that you can't let beat you. And this is early in the ball game, but especially with the way their lineup was configured today, he especially is a guy you didn't want to beat you because they don't have all their regulars in there.
Didn't get it. Gozwich tags him out. And Miley has another strikeout. We joke about games like this when we get ready for them, because you see the other team resting their regulars. You see a guy in Miley who doesn't get a lot of run support. You see how hot the Braves are, and you worry about what we jokingly call the reverse lock.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, sometimes the baseball gods say it's not going to be as easy as you think it's going to be on that day.
That's why you got to show up and play every day. Take nothing for granted.
Pendleton laid down a bunt his first time, and that brings Martin Prado in a step or two at third base. Braves left a pair in the opening inning, stranded Tommy La Stella in the second. Miley pumping in strike after strike.
About that on base percentage too. Drawing some walks. He's driven in 8 runs from that spot already. 4 yesterday. Miley said before the game one of the things that he would need to do today against this hot Braves team is establish his fastball. He's throwing 91, 92 primarily, but he's really spotting it well, and it is setting up his sinker and a slider we talked about.
Fly ball center, and Ciarte is going to catch that. 2 outs. I know you and I and everybody in Braves country almost fainted when we saw Andrelton take that tumble around the second base bag yesterday.
Yeah, it scared me. Could have easily rolled that ankle. He kind of did roll his ankle a little bit trying to dodge the tag. How about Freddie's triple yesterday? Mark Bowman of MLB.com wrote in his game story something that really surprised me. That triple yesterday by Freddie was the third triple at Turner Field since he last hit a home run here, which was May 19th. That was 21 home games ago, and that was against Milwaukee.
So Freddie Freeman's good work is our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
That's against Arizona. Highest batting average for him against any opponent.
And how about Miley?
Dealing.
You bet he is. He has struck out 5 Braves through 3 innings. He's got a 2-run lead.
Reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
2-0 Arizona. Told you about the All-Star game coming up on the 15th of July, and you still have time to vote. All-Star voting isn't quite over yet. Vote for the final player on each league's roster today through Thursday. Check Braves.com today to see who made the team and vote for who should get the final spot for each league's roster. Said David Peralta's a good-looking hitter. Other than the obvious results, what do you like about his game at the plate?
That he hangs in there against lefties is apparent today, but he's got quick hands.
And he's got another multi-hit game brewing for Arizona today. That's his first in 2 tries this afternoon, and that's his 10th hit against the Braves this year.
He was fooled on this pitch. Breaking ball going away from him, but flipped the barrel of the bat out there to get in a good spot. Wasn't laced, but it was combed.
So Peralta leads at first for Cody Ross. Ross walked back in the second inning. He's an RBI away from 500. 4-1. Mentioned the postseason experience for Cody Ross. Had a magical run in 2010 when he went from the Marlins to the Giants. In 33 games in the regular season with San Francisco, he hit three homers and 7 RBIs. In the postseason, he hit 5 homers for San Francisco. Five homers, 10 RBIs in 15 postseason games.
I think he was the MVP of either the NLCS or the World Series.
MVP of the National League Championship Series against the Phillies.
Another 3-0 count.
Ross hit 3 homers in the first 2 NLCS games of that series, the 4th player in the history of the game to do that. Babe Ruth, Rusty Staub, and Willie Stargell were the others. To third, Chris Johnson. Quick release and an around the horn double play.
Exactly right, Chip. And when you're playing that deep, you do need to get rid of it quickly. Long way to go to get the double play, but a good feed to Tommy. Stella has been very impressive around the bag, turning double plays. That's another part of his game that we weren't sure about, and he's certainly done all he's been asked to do there on the double plays.
So Tuffy Goswish gets to do something, you know, Jason Hayward appreciates, and that's play his home games at home. Product of Arizona State. And a pop fly out of play. He's in a 2-1 count. Ooh, flinch.
Let's check out Sherwin-Williams painting the corners. It had so much heat on it that it almost sent us to black there.
So it's a full count to James Benjamin Goswich. It's Tuffy's given name. Graduate of Horizon High School in Phoenix. Out of play. He was originally signed by the Phillies. We drafted him in 2005. Was traded to the Blue Jays for future considerations at the deadline in 2012. And then Arizona signed him as a minor league free agent after the 2012 season. Making Alex Wood work in the top of the 4th. Too short. Simmons to his left. Catcher running, and he gets his man with ease. Wood pitches around the leadoff hit, a double play, and another ground out sends it to the home 4th. That's where Justin Upton looks to take over for Atlanta, which trails 2-0. to the home 4th inning. And that grounds crew job is one that has everyone else green with envy.
You sure do.
And the field looks beautiful today. Hopefully Justin Upton can do some damage here at Turner Field. He's part of our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard.
Yeah, you were talking about Chris Johnson and his damage against left-handed hitters. Justin Upton on that group in the top 7 along with Paul Goldschmidt, who is already homered here today. Wade Miley's on fire, though.
5 strikeouts in his first 3 innings, coming off a 10 strikeout, no walk performance in his last start against the Pirates. And if you were to say what one thing really sabotaged Arizona's season in 2014, pitching injuries and poor pitching, especially at home. They've had no luck at all pitching in their home park.
And their closer, Reed's been having some problems too. They've had some tough days out of the bullpen. Miley was very philosophical, though. He was talking about that game in Pittsburgh where he had a 2-hit shutout through 8. He said, I choose to focus on the positives that I could learn from in the 2-hit 8-inning part, and not the 2 hits I gave up in the 9th that led to a tie game and then ultimately a loss. Might be his first 3-ball count. It is.
And he walks Upton. There's a promising start. Now Atlanta brings the tying run to the plate. .35 walks for Miley now in 116 innings. He's also given up 17 home runs this year.
Yeah, that's a lot. And most of them at home. 12 of the 17 at home.
Outside corner call, a strike for Jason Hayward.
Jason's not getting many hits, and his average is beginning to dip because of it, but he is drawing a lot of walks. He's been involved in a lot of the rallies during this 9-game streak because he's been on base, but it's not from base hits. He is just 6 for his last 45, and that's kind of hard to comprehend because he's been on base a lot. And he has really struggled against lefties. He came in hitting 133 against left-handed pitching.
Slow roller toward first. Goldschmidt will apply the tag. And Justin Upton moves up to second base with the first out of the inning. And Chris Johnson bats. You see Jason get on these long way slides. He has a lot of at-bats just like that one.
Yes, he does. And it's, as Greg Walker pointed out, all about timing, where he starts trying to make up if he is late, trying to do certain things to try to help the bat get through there. And one of them is to roll that top hand over to try to get the barrel there on time. And that's what he's doing now.
Chris Johnson rips a single straight up the middle. Here comes Upton around third. Inciarte's throw is going to be late. And Chris Johnson continues his excellent work against left-handed pitching. He ends an 0 for 11 slide with an RBI hit that cuts the Arizona lead in half.
Good time to get his first hit of the series. His 28th RBI of the year. Right back through the middle. And Inciarte aired out the throw, but Johnson unable to take advantage of it. Tubby Ghostwich tried to pick him off at first base. Aaron Hill was there covering, and Chris Johnson trying to mess with Aaron Hill a little bit.
No balls and a strike. Haven't seen many swings like that from LaStella. He was fooled with that pitch. Good one. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Late life from Miley. Right to the outside corner where the target was set up. Tommy might have been guessing location.
The radar gun at the ballpark is showing Miley's fastball 90, 91. But the way it's being caught by Ghostwich, it sounds a lot harder.
Yeah, and the effort he's putting into it looks harder than that too. He's topped out at 92, I think.
Fouled at the plate. LaStella hangs tough. 1 and 2 strikes. Leadoff walk comes home to score for the Braves here in the 4th. Ground ball toward Hill. He'll go to second for 1. Ahmed tried to turn it. And LaStella beats the rap at first. Chris Johnson's forced out. And Bethancourt will bat with a man aboard and 2 out.
And again, a good turn by Ahmed. Made it a close play.
Really liked your physical comparison of Bethancourt and Sandy Alomar the other night. This is a big young man. This was Sandy Alomar Jr., who starred for so many years with the Indians.
He's a slider, but he might grow into his frame.
Listed at 6'2", 205. This ball's popped up right side. Hill will make the play in shallow right. And that'll retire the side. Chris Johnson, good work against lefties this year. His first hit of this series against Arizona brings home Justin Upton. And the Braves are on the board after 4. Braves won. Atlanta trying to win its 10th consecutive game this afternoon. Fans, it's time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag SouthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. That's brought to you by AT&T. There's Evan Gattis. Hope he's feeling well after his epidural injection for the bulging disc in his back. And Evan's bobblehead night's almost here. Don't miss out. Get your tickets for August 13th. Ironically enough, Joe, presented by Grady Hospital. The first 20,000 fans get to take home this one-of-a-kind souvenir. Get your tickets today at Braves.com or by phone at 800-745-3000. And that's not a misprint. I swear it says brought to you by Grady Hospital.
I like the stance. I like because that's exactly the way he looks. That bat in one hand as he's waiting for the pitcher to get ready. I think all signs point to him being ready after the All-Star break. Timing might be such that he feels good enough that even during the break he might be able to go out on a rehab or go down to the Gulf Coast League and get a few at-bats in.
There's no such thing as good timing for a player to get hurt. But I think it's safe to say that he was on pace for serious consideration for the All-Star team. Leading all catchers and homers, hitting nearly 300. Maybe even getting an invite for the home run derby. Nick Ahmed pops one up right behind the plate, and Bethancourt is going to make the play for the first out. The real shame of it from Gattis's perspective is it would be a wonderful opportunity for the rest of the baseball world to hear his story. I mean, we're still so amazed by what life has dealt Evan Gattis, how he's dealt with that, and his ability to make it to the major leagues. It's remarkable.
Yeah, it was unfortunate for him. It looked like he was going to have a chance to go to Minnesota maybe next year.
Better start for Alex Wood against Wade Miley in this plate appearance. Remember, Miley walked and scored ahead of the Goldschmidt homer. Liner foul and still 0-2.
And to compound it, it was a leadoff walk.
Mentioned all the injury problems Arizona has had to deal with this year. 11 members of their club are on the disabled list. 11. They traded Brandon McCarthy today to the Yankees. They dealt Tony Campana and Joe Thatcher to the Angels, so the Arizona dismantling has begun. But you mentioned Chris Owings. Bronson Arroyo's hurt. Mark Trumbo's hurt, but is playing minor league rehab games. Hudson and Reynolds, Tommy John surgery. David Hernandez, Tommy John surgery. Patrick Corbin, Tommy John surgery. I mean, the Braves and Diamondbacks have an awful lot to talk about with regards to the injury bug. The difference is the Braves have had the depth to be able to deal with all those problems.
That's a long list, and a list of key players that if the Diamondbacks were going to do anything this year, they had to have all those guys healthy. Hasn't happened. That strikeout, by the way, the first of the day for Alex Wood.
I think the big challenge for Arizona now is not only rebuilding their franchise, but how do they compete with the Dodgers and the financial behemoth that organization's become now.
Might be the concern of everybody in the National League West.
We haven't seen the Dodgers yet. We will late this month as Inciarte is behind in the count. A ball and 2 strikes. LA a half game ahead of the Giants. That's a 2-team race out west. And if the playoffs were to start today, both the Dodgers and Giants would make the playoffs. The Dodgers would have the 3rd best record, and the Giants, just by winning percentage, they would be 3rd, and the Giants would be the top wild card. Ground ball short. Simmons has to get rid quickly, and he did. Inciarte's retired, and Wood has an easy inning. He needed that. He'll bat first in the home 5th. 1-run game as the Braves hope to sweep away Arizona. Bet you he knows how to tweet. 2-1 game, couldn't resist. Alex Wood leads off here in the 5th inning. Alex struck out his first time up. And a ball outside. We haven't had a chance to talk about the big Cubs trade. It happened after our game on Friday night. A, were you surprised at the size of that deal? And B, were you surprised at who ended up with Jeff Samardzija?
I was shocked. That came out of the blue for me, and as little as I'm involved in any, or at least have access to any inside info, I knew nothing about that one coming. And for the A's not only to get Samardzija, but to get Hamels too, their number 2 starter, that was quite a coup by the A's. It didn't come cheaply. I had to read up on the prospects that were traded by the A's to the Cubs. But this kid Addison must be a real top-notch player, rated the 3rd overall prospect in all of baseball.
B.J. Upton bats, an 11-game hit streak on the line today. The Cubs are certainly cornering the market on young shortstops in their system. And it seems only fitting that a kid named Addison will end up playing
perfect
at Wrigley Field someday.
Well, Starling Castro is a good player in the eyes of everybody, but you told me today how many errors?
Well, someone had a stat: misplays and errors.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't just errors. As BJ takes a call 3rd, that's another strikeout from Miley, who has 7 today, and 2 quick outs in the 5th inning.
Let's check out the Sherwin-Williams here, see if he painted the bottom corner. Yep, perfect pitch. That's usually right in BJ's wheelhouse too. He likes them down and in.
Starlin Castro, 33 misplays and errors for the Cubs this year.
That's a ton.
So I wonder if they would move him. He's under contract, a long-term contract, or if they would move him to second base, move him to the outfield. He's a terrific athlete and a good hitter. As Simmons jumps on the first pitch and hits one in the air toward right. And that'll be handled by Cody Ross. 3 up, 3 down. We are through 5 in Atlanta. The Diamondbacks spoiling the party for the Braves. They lead 2-1. The bright lights, the big city, New York and Citi Field. Our series with the Mets begins tomorrow night. That's what's on deck, presented by Delta. And looks like they're going to make a change in their starting pitching rotation. Are those dastardly New York Mets?
Yeah, Jonathan Neese now is the latest Met pitcher to have to go on the disabled list. And our old pal Buddy Carlisle has been called up from Vegas, and he will make the start in Neese's place. Is that the second start or third?
I think he was going to be game 3.
Yeah, game 3 it is.
But some good news for the Mets. They have David Wright back. David came back and played last night, had a double. We didn't see David Wright in the series here in Atlanta.
He can only help.
Alex Wood gets after it here in the 6th inning with Hill, Goldschmidt, and Martin Prado. And a strike. This is an exciting time for fans on the hot stove. Trading deadline July 31st. As Hill lifts one into shallow right, and Hayward's going to take over and make the play. Talked about the scouts maybe looking at this Arizona infield situation and trying to pry away a Prado or a Hill. We talked about the Samardzija deal. We talked about McCarthy getting traded to the Yankees today. So everybody's waiting to see what's going to happen, if anything, with David Price and the Tampa Bay Rays.
There was even some hot rumors coming out of Cincinnati today. I think they proved false, but the story that Joey Votto's name was involved.
Yeah, his locker was quote unquote empty. He wasn't at the ballpark, and he just got to the park late. But this time of year, anytime a star player isn't where they're supposed to be,
yeah,
the rumor mill explodes.
Baseball paparazzi.
Yeah, right.
Crazy.
Right. The Yankees wanted pitching depth because they're really worried about CC Sabathia. He's got a bad knee. He's probably going to have surgery. He's probably done for the year in New York. They're still trying to hang on as Goldschmidt doesn't see a strike. Brings pitch around him with 1 out. If you're Tampa Bay, David Price is pitching great. All of a sudden they've won 9 of 11 games. They're only 8.5 out. How in the world can Tampa Bay pull the plug? Are they still alive in the AL East?
I wouldn't pull the plug too soon in that division, no matter which team you're talking about.
Hitless day for Martin today. He's flied out and grounded out. 9 hits in his last 46 at bats.
Sorry, Chip. He leads the Snakes in double plays too. 14.
How many strikeouts does he have?
50.
That's about right for Martin, isn't it? Maybe a little higher than normal. When he was with the Braves, he put the ball in play so much.
One about every 7 at bats. Not bad.
This ball's hit in the air. Long run up and down the line, and bounce off the warning track foul.
He's hit into 14 double plays, which leads their team. The Braves leader in that category is Chris Johnson. He's hit into 15. But as off a year as people would say Martin is having, especially with his average under 270, which is still not too shabby, he'd be third on the Braves club in RBIs behind Justin, Freddie, who have 50 and 47 respectively. Parado has 34.
They're not scoring a bunch of runs either. Including today's game, the Diamondbacks have been outscored by 73 runs so far this year. There's the ground ball to short. Listella will turn it, and Prado hits into his 15th double play of the season for the Diamondbacks. Heart of the order up for Atlanta in the 6th inning. It starts with Freddie Freeman, then Justin Upton and Jason Hayward. Good ball game. 2-1 Diamondbacks lead it. Always a special treat at Turner Field for home Sundays. Our hometown hero is the pride of the United States Air Force and Robins Air Force Base Tech Sergeant Julie Mecca, who began her Air Force career, we understand, as an aerospace mechanical officer, then moved into the intelligence field, worked as the counter-terror watch officer in the United Kingdom. Her job was to analyze threat assessments for soldiers and military traveling while in Europe. In fact, while she was being announced, some of her assignments are still classified.
Yeah. We can't tell you all the good stuff she does.
Yeah.
We're sure glad she's here at the ballpark today. Inning being delayed by a conversation between Kirk Gibson and crew chief Jeff Nelson. Sure what this could be about.
So that conversation concludes, and the home sixth is about to begin. We hope you join us here at the ballpark for Rivalry Week. The Braves will take on the Phillies and Marlins Friday, July 18th through the 24th. Come on out to the ballpark and support the Braves in their quest for back-to-back division titles. Good tickets are available online at Braves.com.
I like that Rivalry Week.
After the Marlins leave town, we'll have the San Diego Padres for 4 games. And we will head to the West Coast. The Dodgers, the San Diegos, and Seattle. A 1-run Arizona lead. Not surprising, Miley's in another 1-run game. I told you 10 of his 18 starts have been 1-run affairs this year, and he's pitched in 7 consecutive 1-run games.
When you don't get many runs to work with, you know you've got to hold the opponent down. And even though he hasn't won in his last 9 starts, he's pitched well enough to win.
To the right side, Hill gives ground and makes the peg. 1 out. Freddie's 1 for 3. Here's Justin.
Kind of hard to believe watching him work today that it's been 9 starts since he put a W on the board.
Mentioned Justin's homer to right field yesterday. It was the first homer by a Brave in 47 innings.
He's trying to slow Miley down here a little bit, taking his time, asking for time from the home plate umpire. Smart idea by Justin. Be a little more deliberate. See if it gets in Miley's head a little bit. B.J. Upton said something about this relative to how quick a guy works the other day. He said, I'd much rather face a guy who's more deliberate, because a guy who gets in a rhythm and works fast, all of a sudden he's got me working fast. I'm trying to get in there and hit too soon when I'm not ready. But it's because he's established his pace. And I think he was talking a little bit about Doug Fister in Washington. And he said, I've got to be able to control that a little bit and make sure that I don't fall into his pace.
At the knees. Wade Miley is pitching a marvelous game today. That's his 8th strikeout.
And the first called third, I believe. And I think you got Justin looking for something else.
Yeah, he got BJ looking back in the 5th, so it's his second.
Second.
So 2 outs, bases empty for Jason. He's 0 for 2.
Well, there was a pretty good pitch to hit. One of the things that, if you're Jason here, is that you got to know with 2 outs, he doesn't want to run the risk of giving you anything to hit that you can pull and tie the game up. So you've got to figure he's going to work you away.
Pull to the right side. Goldschmidt, nice pickup, and he wins the race to the bag. Wade Miley's through 6 with a 1-run lead. 2-1 is our score. And today, USAA would like to pay special recognition to all of our service members at home and abroad. Arizona 2, Braves 1. All year long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, low price every day. Andre Aldridge, Joe Simpson, Chip Carey with you from the ballpark. John Smoltz is home, probably whipping up a couple 1,000 pounds of cotton candy.
He's the only person I know that has a private machine.
Right?
Yeah. It used to be a hot tub.
Yeah. So, John, good luck with that. See if your recipe's better than that. Alex Wood hasn't pitched badly at all today, but a leadoff walk to the pitcher, followed by a Goldschmidt homer in the third, has him down a run. David Peralta, first pitch swinging, flies out to center.
Ball's not carrying today. I'm not sure why, but there have been a couple of balls hit pretty well. Inciarte squared one up to center. I know he doesn't have a ton of power, but Andrelton hit a ball pretty well to right center field earlier today too, and the ball just didn't go anywhere. Breeze is blowing in a little bit from right center.
Game time temperature 81 degrees. It was very cloudy this morning before noontime. There's some humidity, but it's not oppressively humid.
Not like you would expect here. The Mets in Arizona caught a break weather-wise, as did, of course, the home team. We had that one hot day in the middle of the Mets series where the Braves didn't even take batting practice.
On the 4th of July in Atlanta, it was 82 degrees. Ross takes low, 3 balls and a strike. Washington leads the Cubs. That's 1-0, bottom of the 5th inning at Nationals Park. That's Zimmerman and Arrieta. Nationals pounded out a season high 19 hits yesterday and won 13-0.
Well, if you're a player on the Cubs team, it's got to be a little disheartening for a while. It's going to take you a few days to get over the fact that you just traded away your 2 best pitchers.
Deep short. Andrelton had Ross played well, and he gets his man relatively easily. It looked like trouble off the bat, but Simmons was in the right place at the right time. 2 out.
When he goes to the backhand, it's almost like he's catching it barehanded because of how quick he gets it to his throwing hand. And that's in slow motion. And got him by 3 steps.
And we talk about that Cubs club with good reason. We'll see them right before the All-Star break. We don't know who's going to be starting for them.
No. But I mean, they were already having a rough year. It's not like, oh, we're not going to win the division now. I think they had a pretty good idea. But I think there's a period there where the players are they're going to go through the, okay, now what are we supposed to do?
One of their players was quoted this morning, and I can't remember who it was, but he said, you know what? It's kind of an exciting time because we all collectively see a little light at the end of the tunnel now. As if to say they hope not to be in this position next year as the Cubs hope to build that ball club up. Alex Wood sends this game to the 7th inning stretch. It's a 2-1 Arizona lead. Paul Goldschmidt continues his All-Star game impressive run with a couple of hits, including both RBIs today. And Timothy Miller strides to the center of the diamond here in Atlanta. As is customary on home Sundays, he will lead us in God Bless America. And this man's wonderful voice is today's SunTrust shining moment. A beautiful day for baseball at Turner Field.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Local Hyundai dealer. This will be a good time for a long drive by one of the Braves. Down a skinny run to Wade Miley and the Diamondbacks. Braves have a 9-game winning streak on the line, and they're running out of outs. They have 9 of them left.
Both pitchers, I think, would tell you that the only mistakes they've made today have been walks. Leadoff walk to Justin that led to a run in the 4th for the Braves, and the horrible walk issued by Alex Wood to the pitcher leading off the 3rd. That was followed by a 2-out homer by Goldschmidt. Difference in the game.
Chris Johnson has the Braves RBI hit. It came in the 4th.
Good changeup. Good motion on it. Very difficult to pick up the difference in that delivery, whether it's going to be 92 or 80.
There was the 91 version of the fastball.
He's done a really nice job today of locating his fastball away. He's gotten a lot of swings and misses. He's gotten some calls, but to right-handed hitters, he's done a real good job of pitching away hard.
Line to short. And Ahmed's there and makes the play. Chris Johnson's out number 1 in the 7th. Tommy La Stella's reached base twice today. He singled back in the 2nd, bounced into a forced play in the 4th. Braves have left 4 men on base. La Stella's been stranded twice.
Another one of those weird swings. That one was more of a full cut. But almost a reactionary swing to the pitch that he wasn't looking for. Short finish.
Best fastball of the day.
Yep. That's what I've seen. 93. And late. That was almost like on his back leg by the time he got the bat down there. He was a supplemental 1st-round pick in 08 out of Southeast Louisiana. 6 feet 220. He wanted that one.
Broken back. And Goldschmidt will hustle to the bag for number 2.
One thing about it, if you've hit a ball deep behind the bag at first and Goldschmidt has it and you know the pitcher's not going to be there to cover, you've got a decision to make. Do I run the risk of a head-on collision with this guy, or do I back off just a little bit and hope I still win the race?
Two outs. Here's Bethancourt. Christian's 0 for 2. One of those supplemental picks. They really are a tricky proposition. We've talked about Mike Trout. What could have been for the Yankees. Jersey kid. The Yankees had to surrender that draft position to the Angels when they signed Mark Teixeira to play first base in New York. The Minnesota Twins couldn't live without Livan Hernandez as a free agent. They signed Livan Hernandez. That draft pick then was transferred from the Twins to the Diamondbacks. And that's how they got Wade Miley with the 43rd pick in 2008.
See Dan Uggla on deck. Betancourt's had some good swings. Just stayed alive on that one.
Hot shot into left. That had a different sound to it.
Yes, it did. And he had some good swings. He had some aggressive swings that led to that. And turned on a good fastball.
So here's Dan Uggla. He'll pinch hit.
That was pretty much the same pitch that struck out Justin Upton earlier. Betancourt looked like he was ready for it.
So Kirk Gibson will head to home plate umpire Toby Basner. Wow. Their bullpen was busy.
Miley not happy. He's still shaking his head out there. Pitch count was low. He was dealing. And their bullpen has not been that good, with the exception of Joe Thatcher they traded away was doing a good job. So is Perez. But this is a real roll of the dice.
Miley couldn't wait to hand off the baseball. He is not a happy camper. He should be with the way he pitched, but he wanted to finish what he started today. Day. And Joe, as we suspected, wasn't too happy with being pulled out of this one-run game.
Yeah, I hope he's not hurt. Punched the Gatorade bucket with his right hand, and then later I saw him sitting in the dugout looking at his right wrist. Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, Kirk Gibson has a reputation of managing by gut, by feel, rather than by numbers. We'll see if it works out. As Evan Marshall checks in for his 24th relief appearance for the Diamondbacks. He will face Dan Uggla, who could put the Braves in front with a long ball here with 2 outs.
He's one of the few guys down in their pen with some decent numbers.
You saw Gerardo Parra. He's checked into play right field and will bat 9th when the Diamondbacks come up for the 8th inning. Parra has a cannon for an arm and hits one that way. 2 balls, no strikes.
That fastball, cut it loose. Just happened that one was a little too far away, outside edge.
Way outside. 3 balls and a strike.
Saw Alex Wood in the dugout. Pitched a good ball game. Walked the pitcher that preceded a homer. The only mistake he really made today. He only gave up 3 hits, but lack of run support so far biting him again.
Bethancourt will be running with a full count pitch now.
He's going to have to tune it up a notch.
Runner goes. It's outside. Ball 4. Tying run in scoring position. And now Miley will sweat a little more on the Arizona dugout bench. As the hottest Braves hitter, B.J. Upton stands in, riding an 11-game hitting streak. But hitless so far today.
B.J.'s never faced him before. Good arm, as good as it come in right field. Pretty decent arm we've seen in this series from Inciarte, and not a very good arm in left.
One ball, 1 strike. Might have been ball 2.
Well, he took a little off. First time he's done that. And barking on Miley. I hope he didn't break his hand.
The 1-2 pitch is high, 2-2. Bethancourt and Ugla, the Braves runners with 2 outs. He just did stay alive.
That was the same pitch he swung and missed at, though. It was like a changeup that he's turned over, maybe a split. Yeah, just got a piece.
Swing and a miss. And the hunch by Kirk Gibson pays off. A walk, but 2 stranded, sends this game to the 8th. 2-1, Arizona leads it. Shut the door and sends the game to inning number 8. 2-1 Diamondbacks. The Braves hit the road. Then we come back after the All-Star break for a nice long homestand. It's called Rivalry Week. The Phillies and Marlins, the first 2 clubs in on that 3-team homestand. July 18th through the 24th. Hope you'll join us at the ballpark as the Braves continue to try to play well against divisional opponents. For more information, go to Braves.com/tickets.
Jordan Walden on to pitch, and boy, has he been on a roll. In this homestand, he's been in 3 games, 2 against the Mets, 1 against the Diamondbacks. He's picked up 2 holds and a save. Over that stretch, that's 2 1/3 innings. That's 7 hitters he's faced. He has struck out 6 of them. Given up 2 hits, no runs or walks.
And he's in the thick of what's been an overwhelmingly good Braves bullpen.
Yeah, during the streak, the bullpen ERA 0.40.
Well, he's got to hold him right there and hope that the Braves offense in the 8th can get something going. It's Ahmed, Parra, and Inciarte for the Diamondbacks. 1 ball, no strikes. Popped up. Hayward's having trouble with the sun, and he stays with it.
One of the things a young player has to try and do when he first comes up is hit the ball on the ground, stay on top of it, hit ground balls. Ahmed's hit a lot of fly balls and pop-ups. This one right in the sun, but handled. And Jason Hayward. Or is it Jeremy Hayward and Jason Kendall?
I don't know. I get confused too.
Yeah.
We can just stick to what we learned from Mr. Smoltz. When in doubt, just say that guy.
Yeah. There's some other people would be better off doing that too.
No balls and a strike to Gerardo Parra.
guy behind the plate today has done a nice job. I think Toby Basner. I'm not sure that we've seen him before. Quick calls. Seems to have done a very good job.
Nice crowd trying to spur Walden on with the wave here, as he tries to stare down two-time Gold Glove winner Gerardo Parra. How good was Parra defensively last year? We've raved obviously about the job Andrelton Simmons did at shortstop for the Braves and the job Jason Hayward is doing. Last year Parra saved 41 runs with his work in right, which included 17 outfield assists. And he's down on strikes. Wants to know if it was a strike. The answer was yes. 2 outs.
I think as far as right fielders go, he's the only one that would rival Jason Hayward in ability, and he's having an off year offensively, and Walden just peppered him with a good fastball.
Well, the Braves have a shot down a run. They'll have their 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up in the 8th, so you want to stay tuned for that. Inciarte is their leadoff man. He's 0 for 3 today. Raving about how good Gerardo Parra is defensively, Baseball America says that Ender Inciarte is the Diamondbacks' fastest base runner and has the best outfield arm.
Is that right?
That's what the book says. Yeah.
We've seen him make a couple of throws. One he airmailed to home plate, I believe it was yesterday, and he made another throw Friday night, but what I saw wouldn't put him in the Gerardo Parra class.
And maybe that ranking doesn't specify that, but maybe that ranking had to do with their minor league players.
Did.
Because if you've got a better arm than Parra, I want to see it.
Yep.
Nice catch off to our left. Another 2-2.
Well, with that speed you were talking about, you don't want to give them an opportunity right here to add to their lead by walking a fast runner, putting him on for the top of for the rest of the meat of their order. But he did.
2-out walk brings up Aaron Hill.
It's the first walk issued by Jordan in 5, counting this one, 6 outings.
Dangerous hitter. Only 2 second basemen have hit more homers than Aaron Hill since the start of the 2009 season. Robbie Cano and Dan Uggla. Those hit 6 this year. At the plate, foul, strike 1. Hill's under contract a couple more seasons. Came over in a trade with Toronto in August of 2011. He signed through 2016. Injuries really derailed his year last year. He played just 87 games. A broken left hand. A pitched ball from James McDonald in April against the Pirates cost him almost the entire first half of the season. Runner goes, pitch popped up to right, and it's playable for Jason Hayward. He's got it. Walden surrenders a 2-out walk and nothing else. Now it's time for the Braves bats to batter the Diamondbacks bullpen. Right man up in a tight ball game. 2-1 your score. Weezer will perform in the Braves Summer Concert Series Tuesday, August 12th. That's presented by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. Stay after the game for a free post-game concert. Limited VIP field passes are available for the show. They're just $20 a piece. Act fast and get them online at braves.com/concerts today. As we promised you earlier, we have our AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to #SouthFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. That's brought to you by AT&T. That is a very special couple. Ira and Nan Rowell celebrating their 65th wedding anniversary today.
And parents of our stage manager, Valerie Burrell, who is with them today, I'm guessing, to celebrate that 65th anniversary. Congratulations to them.
A hot shot. Great spread. Ziegler off the bat of Andrelton Simmons. And the tying run is aboard in the Atlanta 8th.
Brad Ziegler is a ground ball machine, but he got that pitch up a little bit, and Andrelton laced it. He's had good numbers as their double play guy coming out of the bullpen. But when that sinker didn't sink, it got hit hard. Good start to the inning.
Freeman kills the Diamondbacks. A long one here would put the Braves in front. Hot shot. Ahmed spears it at short. Freddie tried to go the other way, but hit it right at Nick Ahmed for out number 1.
Man. I mean, that was hit so hard, just about 6 feet either way. It's a base hit.
Justin Upton, the batter. He's 2 for 3 lifetime against Ziegler. And is the only Brave to score today. The Diamondbacks walked him in the 4th. Chris Johnson brought him home with a hit. He tried a bunt.
They weren't looking for that. And you naturally want to see Justin swinging the bat, because with one swing he can give you the lead. And he's 2 for 3 off Ziegler in his career. But I'm not going to be too critical of this, because there's a left-handed hitter coming up next who might have a little better opportunity to do some damage, and would certainly put the tying run at second. That was a good try. That goes back to that theory I was telling you about a couple of nights ago. Make it a base hit or make it foul.
So a harmless strike, and Upton back in the box with Simmons at first and 1 out.
Got to make him get the ball up. If it starts low, it's just going to go lower.
Ziegler broke in with the A's. First taste of big league life was in 2008, then came to the Diamondbacks in 2011. Durable arm out of the bullpen. 77 games in 2012, 78 last year, and 46 this season. And he missed badly outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Do you understand what he was trying to do there? That's a ball that Justin will chase once in a while. That slow, sweeping, breaking ball that starts at the middle of the plate, and he reads it as a pitch that he can reach and then can't. But that pitch started so far off the plate, Upton didn't offer. There's a better example of what he was trying to do, and a good eye by Justin to take it. Sign from Hamilton to see if he might be running. They were hoping he'd give it away.
He is going, and the pitch is off the plate. Ball 4.
A good at bat does the same thing he was trying to do with the bunt. So another good opportunity. The Braves have left 6 men on base today, 3 in scoring position.
Braves have been getting hits with runners in scoring position by the bunches of late. They're 1 for 5 with Risp today. Bavaro and Kimbrel loosening in the bullpen. 2 on, 1 out for Jason Hayward.
And again, this guy is their ground ball reliever, and that's what he's going to try and get from Jason.
They did. Hill flagged it at second. He'll have only 1 play.
Might have saved a run, though.
runners move up. The inning's still alive, and Chris Johnson's the batter.
Got to pitch up. He's been up above the knees this afternoon. That's a good sign for the Braves hitters, but a good play by Hill. It was hit so sharply that if it got to Gerardo Parra, I'm not sure that Simmons could have scored, but we might have seen a test.
Riz has the Braves' lone hit with a runner at second or third base today. Can he provide another? Lestello waits on deck.
Good off-speed pitch, sinking. The equivalent of his changeup.
We can hear him grunting with every release.
Well, if the hitters have been paying attention, they've noticed that, especially when you don't have two strikes in it, he's not getting his slider over. That breaking ball is missing. So you can, at least for right now, if you're Chris, eliminate that and just think middle of the plate and in, and try to drive something, hoping he gets that sinker up, flattens out a little bit.
You're right, Joe. He can't throw it for a strike, at least not yet. Now Johnson in the driver's seat.
Make it a good pitch. 3-1. Even if he throws a strike with the breaking ball, so be it. You got another pitch to live with.
He caught the corner.
It's okay. Chris was looking for something middle away, and he got it in. He took it. Sherwin-Williams painting the corners, and he did the inside one.
So now it's a full count. And Johnson didn't get the slider. Ziegler came back and retired Chris, and two more Braves are left stranded. We head to the ninth. It's a 2-1 Arizona game. Paul Goldschmidt homer has been enough for the Diamondbacks in Game 3 of the series. There you see Martin Prado. He was the subject of our AT&T U-verse trivia question. Named the only two players with more hits at Turner Field since 2007 than Martin Prado.
I'm going with Brian McCann and Chipper Jones.
That's got to be the answer. It's got to be. So I'm going to ride your coattails to see if you're right.
Yeah, straight up.
That's kind of a into the homestand. Thank you.
Sunday layup is what you're saying?
Yes, it was.
But you never know with that person down there. And then she'll throw a trick question at us. We nailed it today. As Anthony Favaro checks in his 36th game, look at his impressive line of work.
Talked to some scouts during this homestand that were bragging on Anthony and thinking that in their view he has really improved, become a very valuable part of the Braves bullpen for sure.
That's something we don't really talk much about, and maybe we should. It's the job that Roger McDowell does with this staff. With all due respect, it's probably real easy to coach players who are on their way to superstardom or are there. In the case of, say, a Craig Kimbrell, more saves than anybody else in the history of the franchise. Anthony Favaro never really had a major league home until he got to Atlanta, and progressively has worked and worked and worked into very important situations like this one in a one-run game. I mean, 2 years ago he wouldn't have been in this game.
I'm not sure how that saying goes about you're only as good as your weakest link, something like that. But Roger does a great job of making sure, and I'm not saying that about Anthony, I'm saying that about the entire bullpen. He's working with everybody to make sure they're all ready, make sure they're all on top of their game. And a credit to Roger, since he's been here, he's done a fabulous job. But you can't just work with the stars. You got to make sure everybody's on their game.
And whether it's teaching a new pitch, instilling confidence, kicking a guy in the backside when things aren't going well, or patting him on the back when things are, or vice versa. Case of an Alex Wood, hey, you got to go to the bullpen to help the team.
Well, and just like the hitters, even if the team doesn't hit on the field like they did not today, but they're still hitting in the cages underneath. I heard Roger today telling Eddie Perez or Alan Butts, you know, okay, Carpenter's at 12:10, Barbaro's at 12:15. I mean, he was going through a schedule of when those guys were going to get some side work before today's game.
Paul Goldschmidt was just erased on a 93-mile-an-hour chest-high fastball.
Right by him. That's an air of confidence right there to get one of the toughest outs in the big leagues right now with your Sunday best pitch.
Martin Prado is 0 for 3, including a double play. Entering play today, the Braves pen had allowed 1 earned run in over 22 innings. That's very impressive. It's not the same guys pitching every single game, every single inning. Good news in Washington. The Cubs have tied the Nationals. That one's 1-1 now in the 7th. Arrieta and Jordan Zimmerman were the starters today. That'll sneak through the left side for Martin Prado. A 1-out single starts the 9th.
That was his two-seamer. He got Goldschmidt with the four-seamer, belt high, went right after him. That was a two-seamer. He was trying to run to the outside corner, and it came back too much of the plate.
So here's that man again, David Peralta. Peralta has 10 hits against the Braves and 24 at bats this year. And a 13 for 30 road trip.
And again was a former pitcher who hurt his arm and made a comeback through the independent leagues.
Gibson's Diamondbacks clinging to a 1-run lead. It's foul beyond third by Peralta. Arizona 14-13 this year in 1-run games. The Braves are 17-10. Into the seats and still 0-2. Mets are playing the Rangers today. They had a big lead. It's tightening up. It's the Mets 7, Texas 4. That game's in the 8th inning at Citi Field. The Marlins lead the Cardinals 1-0 in St. Louis 6th inning. The Reds beat Milwaukee 4-2. The Reds making a run in the Central.
Rangers are 16 games out. They're only 3 games ahead of Houston in the AL West.
I believe they're the only team in baseball that has had more games lost to injury than Arizona.
Right.
Still 1-2.
Peralta's got a good swing. I was talking about how well he uses his hands earlier today, but he stays back. Not a lot of movement with his lower body.
Liner foul. Hey, nice catch.
Kind of a toe tap a la Chipper Jones. Short stride.
Two and two.
Tried to heat him up inside, but couldn't get it in there.
This will be the 9th pitch of the at bat. Missed. It's full now. Can't give him any more. It's a 2-1 Arizona game.
Sherwin Williams painting the corners, a changeup. Just missed below the line. Good eye by Peralta on a borderline pitch.
Runner goes, and the ball is dropped at the plate. And Bethancourt will pick it up. That's the second out of the inning. No need for the runner to run. First base was occupied despite the drop. So one more out to get before the Braves take their final turn on the day and try to extend their winning streak to 10. When they do, we'll hopefully have a chance for an 11-game winning streak when we join you from New York tomorrow. We're on the air with Braves Live at 6:30. First pitch at the top of the 7 o'clock hour from New York. That's the end of the day for Anthony Vivaro. A couple of strikeouts with a hit sandwiched in between. And Arizona with a runner at second, 2 outs, continues in the top of the ninth. Back in Atlanta, it's a 2-1 Diamondbacks ball game. We will join you from New York, as we mentioned, tomorrow. 6:30 with Braves Live, 7 o'clock first pitch. Mike Minor goes to the post for the Braves.
There was some talk that they may switch Minor and Tehran so that Julio could pitch Monday and be available to pitch in the All-Star game if he were selected, but I guess that's not going to happen.
So Luis Avilan is on to pitch in relief. Kieschnick will be taken down. Nick Evans will pinch hit.
.08 for Luis. He was in a game here Friday night, just a third of an inning.
Speaking of the Mets, we saw Nick playing in New York just a couple of years ago, and he cranks one out toward right center field. That's big time trouble, and it's going to get down and bounce up against the fence. Nick Evans with a pinch hit double. Arizona got the matchup they wanted, and Evans brings home Martin Prado with a big insurance run to make it a 3-1 score.
This guy only has 2 hits. He's 1 for 14 before this at bat, and got a fastball right down Broadway. And the 1 hit was a homer, and now he's got an RBI double. That's a huge run, and belongs to Vivaro.
So Arizona 3, Atlanta 1, and Tuffy Gozwich, the catcher. This guy's one out of play.
It's the hardest hit ball today, aside from the homer.
high fly to left. Justin Upton's underneath, and he's got it, and that'll retire the side. Disappointing inning for Atlanta. A big insurance run across for the Diamondbacks. Last chance for the Braves, now in a 3-1 game. Supports is especially proud to recognize the Army's Gold Star Pin campaign, which honors the families of fallen service members. To learn more, visit goldstarpins.org. Braves aren't done yet. They're chopping away here at Turner Field, but Arizona has extended its lead now to 3-1. And here we go with Addison Reed, who has been at times, Joe, a flip of the coin in the ninth inning.
And his numbers, at least walks to strikeouts, very impressive. But he has been certainly a flip of the coin. His ERA in recent days is almost 5. 4.82 over his last 10 ball games. Blew a save his last time out against Pittsburgh. So they haven't had a lot of confidence in him lately, but he's still their closer. Big guy, 6'4", 220, throws hard, throws across his body, but at times his fastball has a tendency to really be straight, and maybe the hitters can take advantage of that.
Well, we'll see if the Braves youngsters can do some growing up here in the ninth. Need 2 to tie, 3 to win, and it starts with Tommy La Stella. The Braves saw Reed pitch against them on June the 7th out in Phoenix, and he gave up a run in his 1 inning of work. That run was a home run by Jason Hayward. He's lurking here in the Atlanta ninth. 1 ball, 1 strike. La Stella pops it foul.
Yeah, that was Miley's start where he pitched so well and got a no decision because of that. Braves had some chances today so far up through the 8th inning. Just couldn't get a big 2-out hit that they needed.
There's a start. La Stella with a 2-strike hit. Don't run on that guy. He throws back toward first. And Tommy's aboard to lead off the ninth.
He was getting some quick instructions from Terry Pendleton not to go to second base. His run doesn't mean anything. There's no point in trying to stretch that into a double at the risk of being thrown out when he's already gotten on base and brought the tying run to the plate. That's a look from the dugout like, all right, let's go to work.
Bethancourt trying to do that. He's 1 for 3.
Go, buddy. Go.
This part's fun for me, Chip, because LaStella and Bethancourt are leading off the inning for the Braves in the 9th inning, trying to play some catch up to extend their winning streak. Two guys that didn't start this season with the team but being counted on now.
Brian Dormant waits on deck. Braves need 2 to tie, 3 to win in regulation today. And that was tipped and caught. So Bethancourt strikes out. There's out number 1. And the Braves will go to Brian Dormant.
That run in the top of the inning changes the dynamics of the bottom of the 9th so drastically, where when you do get the leadoff guy on, you can't bunt, at least not yet. You got to get 2 on to start thinking about bunting. And with LaStella reaching, that would have been ideal here if it were only a 1-run game.
Those numbers give you hope as Dormant digs in. Moves it a strike. Dormant didn't think so.
It looks like he's throwing extremely hard, and by most people's account he is 90, 91, but not like you're used to seeing from a closer in the mid-90s. That was well located.
Time was granted. Toby Basner hollered timeout. And he went ahead and threw the pitch anyway. Double play ball. Hill, Ahmed, and that's going to end the ball game. The Arizona Diamondbacks snap the Braves' 9-game winning streak and salvage the final game of this 3-game series in Atlanta. Your final score: Diamondbacks 3, Atlanta 1. We'll recap it for you from Atlanta right after this.
Win that ball game.